I know. It's been a little minute, but recently I had the craziest experience. Thanks to my big bro, Jeremy, who's the owner of Pinky's Revenge Arcade in the Taylor, South Carolina area. If you're in the area, please stop by. He actually got us some tickets to see Mrs. Foley's baby boy, Mick Foley. So with that, we got some VIP tickets to an autograph signing. Big shout out to Toy Federation, because they were the ones who brought Mick Foley to town, as well as Big Papa Pump. I was able to get a Dude Love Funko Pop signed by Dude Love. Hold on. My Attitude Era belt. I got that signed. Mick Foley. And this is the craziest one. I did not think he was going to do it, but shout out to Mick Foley, man, because he was a really good sport. You may or may not know, but I'm pretty big sneakerhead. Reason why I have stuff like that. So I decided to, I'm just going to wear my Cactus Jack Jordan 6s and see if he's going to sign them. So I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, I have a pair of Jordan 6s. Do you think he will sign them? He was like, well, I don't know. You have to ask him. I did, and bam! Had no idea he was going to do it, but I got my Cactus Jack, and I made sure it was the right shoe. Got my Cactus Jack 6s signed by Cactus Jack. So I officially have to retire these shoes now. Yeah, I'm not wearing these anymore. These are going on the shelf. But in light of all of that, had to do a video, man, to show some love and just reflect on all of the great matches that Mick Foley has had in his career. So today's video, we will be watching Cultaholic, the 10 Mick Foley matches that you need to see. Off the top of my head, I know they gotta have the Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker. They have to have the match with him and Randy Orton, that street fight. I think it was a street fight. It was a hardcore match. And they may or may not have the one with Edge, but we gonna see what Cactus Jack matches and what Mankind matches and what Dude Love matches they have in this video. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Oh, sorry. Definitely make sure, if you're not subscribed to Cultaholic Wrestling, make sure to show them some love, give them a sub. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. I know it's been a little minute trying to get back into the swing of things, but life. So, but yeah, let's check this video out. Wait a minute, am I? You know what? I'm tripping. I'm not even subscribed to him. So let's go ahead and fix that. But yeah, let's check this out.
To have watched Mick Foley wrestle is a truly unforgettable experience. His sacrificial performances have left blood, skin, and even body parts on multiple continents as he captured the imagination of fans that found themselves unable to turn their heads away. Sounds really
nice, I can't take no text in my arm,
While
man.
Foley would later win over millions of fans for his wit, charm, and real earnestness, he initially forced himself upon our eyes with absolute mayhem. Whether he was Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, or just plain old Mick Foley from Long Island, New York, the best-selling author had the ability to spellbind audiences with matches that were cringeworthy in a mostly positive sense. He could tell a story with his mannerisms, his suddenness, his words, and his insatiable sadism, whether portraying a detestable brute or a misunderstood everyman. This versatility has been Mick's calling card, and he could not only change costumes and play a different man every night, he could also hit the extremes on the scale of good and evil. And extreme is a word that sums him up perfectly, as this list is filled to the brim with chaotic performances. But the man helping carry out the chaos is a pro's pro, and one of the all-time greats. There will never be another Mick Foley, as no other wrestler could duplicate each of the matches ahead. I'm Jack from Cultaholic.com, and this is 10 Mick Foley matches you need to see. Join
All right,
us.
we'll be working with.
Number 10, Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk, IWA
Terry Funk.
Kawasaki Dream. This will be the final match of the infamous 1995.
My God, I'm sorry. I can't do no. I want to run the ropes just to see how stiff the ropes are that they always talking about, but ain't no way I'm doing it with barbed wire.
Deathmatch tournament, which would achieve plenty of notoriety as a favorite on the old tape trading circuit. Cactus had survived Terry Gordy and Shoji Nakamaki in the earlier rounds, while the grizzled Funk outlasted Leatherface and Tiger Jeet Singh for a chance to battle Cactus for the big trophy. And what a final match it would be. Just a nice easy stipulation here. A barbed wire rope, exploding barbed wire boards, and exploding ring time bomb deathmatch. Both men had taken tumbles onto actual explosives, falls into barbed wire, all preceding the planned big explosion that ended up being a dud. Instead of the ring blowing up like something out of a war zone, the detonation was pretty bad, leading to Cactus and Foley compensating by enduring truly painful landings onto the assorted weaponry, hoping to make good for the disappointing explosion. It's not a great match, but it's a legendary one, required viewing as perhaps the Hulk vs. Andre of the deathmatch world. Number 9, Mick Foley versus Triple H, No Way Out 2000. Among the desensitized feeling created by the consequence-free Attitude Era, there wasn't a whole lot of sentimental feeling in the air when it came to bigger moments. But when it looked like Mick Foley had just been retired by Triple H after a brutal Hell in a Cell match, hearts were collectively ripped out of the viewership as a whole. It seemed as though a great career had truly ended. Of course, we now know that Foley came back for WrestleMania 2000, but if he'd stayed retired, he'd have gone out on one hell of a match, falling just short of regaining the WWF Championship in a blood-soaked battle against longtime nemesis Triple H. Barbed wire, flames, and
yo, that promo that they cut, man, Triple H sold that, man. Because I believe that's the one where Mick Foley, I think he was either Mankind or Mick Foley, he was in a white shirt. And then he started walking down the ramp. And that's when he was saying that Mick Foley wasn't coming, Dude Love wasn't coming, if I remember correctly. But he was like Cactus Jack. But Triple H sold that so well, man. Like, all he saw was that. Oh my God, what a moment.
And a really terrifying cell spot added to a gritty brawl, in which interest in the challenger could not have been stronger. Everybody wanted Foley to win. But Foley did what he does best, and that's give everything he has to help the star of tomorrow get over just a little bit more. It's safe to say that Triple H wouldn't be the man today if it wasn't for his feud with Foley. It's an emotionally charged war, something Foley did better than pretty much everybody in his generation. Number 8, Cactus Jack versus Randy Orton.
Yes,
Backlash 2004.
this is the one right here.
This,
oh my God. I literally had to go back and watch this match after I literally watched it the day of or the day after the autograph signing. I had to go back and watch this match.
Take part in a rather intriguing feud, this time with a very young Randy Orton. The Legend Killer was by now IC champion, but he lacked that real signature victory on his resume that would catapult him into the stratosphere. That's
what
where
a good
Mick Foley
match,
came
man.
in to help. This was an ideal battle of a proud, respected mauler versus a disrespectful young punk. Orton was sacrificed to the wrestling gods here when he took an unprotected punk onto a sea of thumbtacks, his wide-eyed grimace as real as the pain he felt in that moment. There were many fans at that point who'd seen Orton as nothing more than an overpushed pretty boy, but after this, they came to respect him for the beating he endured en route to victory. It was
you gotta respect
Orton's
that,
best
man.
match to that point, and it might even be his greatest match ever. And the fact that a hardcore legend 4 years deep into retirement got it out of him shouldn't go unnoticed. Number 7, Cactus Jack versus Vader, Halloween Havoc 1993.
Oh man, this was
Hopefully
before my time.
Hopefully you like WCW because we're headed there for a little while. First up is a match that Foley had with a man he openly advocated for a Hall of Fame induction prior to Vader's 2018 passing, thus robbing us of a speech from one of wrestling's most gifted monsters. Vader could dish out hellacious beatings and Foley could endure hellacious beatings, so it's little surprise that this was a match made in heaven. The two squared off in a Texas death match at the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, which, given the nature of the unprotected chair shots to each other's heads in this match, certainly lived up to its ghoulish.
You know, that's the craziest thing. This man has taken so many unprotected chair shots to the head. He's a best-selling author, and when I actually got to meet him, articulate. Like, how do you take that much damage to your brain and you're still able to? I mean, maybe it's me, maybe it's just my assumption, but the amount of damage this man has taken from chair shots from 93 till you fast forward a couple years, and then he has the I Quit match with The Rock, and he's literally handcuffed getting just chair shot after chair shot, and he goes on to do even more unprotected chair shots throughout the Attitude Era. All of the pain that this man went through, and he still is able to, like, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with him, any brain damage or anything like that. He must have an extra hard cranium or something. I don't know.
Name. At least there was context and a story here, as Foley was seeking revenge for a brutal head injury inflicted upon him by Vader 6 months earlier. The violence on display was befitting of each man's characters and reputations, and while the ending was a little bit cornball, it's a brawl that still manages to exceed expectations. Number 6, Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan versus the Nasty Boys, Slamboree.
Yeah, all of these are before my time.
For this WCW Tag Team title
Young
bout,
Mick.
Cactus teamed with fellow sociopath Kevin Sullivan, with legendary NHL roughneck Dave the Hammer Schultz serving as guest referee. The match was in Philadelphia, where Schultz had won 2 Stanley Cups with the Flyers, so the crowd were obviously quite excited to see him. 1 month earlier, Cactus and his partner Max Payne had fallen short in a similarly crazy brawl with the Nasties at Spring Stampede, but this sequel with Kevin Sullivan was just a bit wilder, with some genuine crowd-pleasing moments. Half this match, honestly, is Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura laughing incredulously at the unfettered mayhem, all of which is contained in just a 10-minute stretch. There is literally no downtime, as the 4 men brawl throughout the arena, matching the sort of intensity that was taking place inside the ECW AEW Arena at pretty much the same time frame. If you haven't seen it, we won't spoil the finish, but let's just say that a series of events occurred that make the crowd extremely happy indeed. As a match, it's a template for the hardcore craze that would soon follow. Number 5, Cactus Jack vs. Sting, Beach Blast 1992.
Jeez.
Foley personally believed that this was his best match
digging in
ever,
a
at least
history
for some
bag.
time. Cactus fought WCW champion Sting in a Falls Count Anywhere match that wasn't even for Sting's belt, because the character of Cactus Jack didn't care about belts all that much of the time. He only wanted to inflict pain. After having an issue with Sting going back to the late summer of 91, it was time to blow off the feud with the only way Cactus Jack knows how: physical destruction. What endured was 10 plus minutes of energetic violence, the kind that probably left legitimate dents in both men's skulls. Cactus and Sting brutalized each other with truly painful spots on the concrete, while barely catching a breather all the while. It made a bigger star out of
I'm gonna have
Sting,
to go back
who
and watch
survived
this
an
one.
absolute war with heroic guile and courage. It also opened everyone's eyes to just how effective Foley could be, especially with what he was willing to do to help his opponent look very, very impressive. Number 4, Cactus Jack vs. Triple H, Royal Rumble 2000. Barbed wire in a WWF ring. Even when the Attitude Era whipped up into sheer anarchy with seemingly no rules of any kind, few would have ever guessed that
Greatest
barbed wire
era,
would
I'm
become
sorry.
such liberal use in a Vince McMahon ring. But it was, and the WWE Championship street fight inside Madison Square Garden would set new standards for violence within the promotion. Both men were cut up pretty badly in the early going, especially Triple H, who looked like he'd been bobbing for apples in a vat of ketchup. But they pressed on, determined to make the match into a gruesome masterpiece. By the time Foley got pedigreed face first onto an array of thumbtacks, that goal had certainly been achieved. This win only elevated Triple H, proving that he belonged on the main event level, whilst silencing many of his doubters at the same time. You might be noticing a trend here with Foley's matches. How many wrestlers have given just as much as he?
Bro.
Number 3, Mankind vs. The Undertaker,
Oh,
King
man.
of the Ring, 1998. Yes, I know you've seen this match. You've seen this match 40,000 times. Your parents...
Classic. I don't care how many times I've seen that. Classic.
who don't even watch wrestling have seen this match 10,000 times because it's that damn famous. This entry isn't for you. This is for the few people that somehow haven't seen the match. It's a humble reminder that everybody needs to see it, and since you've already seen it 40,000 times, what's the harm in one more? Nobody will ever forget the images of Mankind.
That right there, him getting thrown, and the fact that I think, if I remember correctly, that was his idea. That man is insane.
Being thrown to his doom from the top of Hell in a Cell, once as a planned stunt and again on an accidental break in the roof panels. Undertaker may have worked with a busted foot, but that pain was mere child's play compared to the laundry list of bumps that Foley acquired.
This man finished the match, bro.
The thumbtacks towards the end might feel like overkill given the preceding carnage, but you know, it's hard to imagine the spectacle without them, and the entire spectacle's place in history will never be questioned.
Ever.
Number 2, Mankind vs. Shawn Michaels in Your House 10, Mind Games. Upon later examination, Foley came to believe that this match topped his brawl with Sting as his personal best bout ever, and it's pretty hard to argue against it. This WWF Championship bout with Michaels in Philadelphia felt a little bit like a placeholder before Mankind resumed his feud with Undertaker,
man.
and Michaels moved on as well. But it made damn
Heartbreak
sure
Kid,
to etch a
Sean.
place in history as a truly awesome main event. This match played to multiple tastes, as Mankind did his damnedest to try and out-wrestle Michaels in a shocking display of skill and grace, but also couldn't help himself from delving into the sort of weapons-based mayhem that is his usual custom. In particular, the bump that both men take through a ringside table is hard to match on account of sheer, unfathomable ballsiness. Ignore the flat ending, this was one of the greatest Foley matches of all time, and certainly one of the best of those darker New Generation days. And finally, number 1, Dude Love vs. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Over the Edge, 1998. This right here is the template for every chaotic Attitude Era.
I think I remember this one.
Follow. The crooked referee, the brawling around the arena, the unpredictability, the blood, the nuclear crowd reactions, it's all there. So many future bouts tried to replicate and duplicate the formula on display here, but most would fall a little bit short. This was Attitude perfected, thanks in part to so many consummate pros being on hand, and it's somewhat ironic that Foley's best match would come as Dude Love. WWF champion Austin had to survive not just
remember
Dude's
this match.
onslaught, but the biased officiating of Vince McMahon, while his cronies sat there watching at ringside. Undertaker was present to stave off any attempts at a Montreal Screwjob redux, while also angling for Austin to pay him back with a title defense. The storytelling was so on point, and each dramatic spot bled so well into the next that there was no way to tell how it was going to end. It's a match of very few flaws, and can still get the adrenaline pumping more than 20 years later. For Foley, it's a masterpiece, a demonstration of his immeasurable value, and a reminder of his generosity. Once more, nobody gave to the business and to their opponents the way that Mick Foley did.
Foley
In
was
a small
definitely
way,
put somebody
hopefully,
over,
by
bro.
appreciating all of his great matches, we can give back.
And damn near
just a
kill
little.
himself in the
Thank you very
process.
much for listening to this video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com, and don't forget to leave your favorite Mankind or Dude Love or Cactus Jack or Mick Foley matches in the comments section down below.
Bro, that's crazy, man. Like, oh, that is nuts, man. Just and that's just a 10 that's on their list. There's so many other matches that, man. Oh, the Rock and Mankind, the I Quit match, like that's a crazy one. My favorite though, that's on this list and that I actually had, period, definitely the Randy Orton match at Backlash. That match was crazy as a young Randy, and then for Mick Foley to put him over the way he did, all of the bumps, all of the spots with the thumbtacks and the barbed wire, it was almost a flawless match. Like it was such a good match. Out of this 10 or any Mick Foley match, what is y'all's favorite? Either Mankind, Cactus Jack, or Dude Love. I would love to hear, from you guys. But man, this was a pretty decent list. Some of these I'm gonna have to go back and check because I'm not familiar with them. I was like 2 or 3 years old when they came out. But man, again, thanks to Toy Federation, thanks to my big bro Jeremy, thanks to Mankind, and thanks to Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. That was such a good day. I have these. I can put them on my shelf. That was a very memorable experience, and it was definitely worth the money. But shout out to Cultaholic Wrestling again. I followed you guys. Sorry. Make sure y'all show them some love, and definitely make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like anything wrestling related. That's what we'll cover on this channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all back in the ring. Seriously, I'm getting back to it. But see y'all next time.